All right. Hello again. Today we have I've actually been super excited to make this, the long-awaited Ballon d'Or ranking video. Took a view at the list just earlier, right before, to kind of get a good comprehensive, understanding of it. Spent the last hour kind of constructing my list, and I feel pretty confident and feel pretty good with my list so far. I have it on this screen, and so we're just gonna do this little tier list system to kind of align it, talk through everything, and then at the end I'll put up just a better visual of the list so you guys can kind of see it, because I know it'll be a bit difficult to see on or a bit difficult to comprehend on the tier list system. So here we have all the nominees, 30 of them. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. All right. So 30th, honestly, bro, this guy shouldn't even be invited to the Ballon d'Or rankings. I don't know how he made it, but we have Denzel Dumfries. Obviously, it's not a knock. I mean, whatever I say about these players is not a knock on their ability. These are, world-class players. These are players that would start for majority of teams in Europe. They're elite players, but we're talking Ballon d'Or, like Denzel Dumfries, obviously Inter Milan didn't win anything this previous season. They were in contention for a long time, and obviously had that great semifinal where Dumfries played an amazing role. He's a huge big game player. He always pops up in the big games, and I do think the system that Inter play benefits him a lot, benefits him and DeMarco, because I do think other than Thuram, who that's one snub of the list. I'll actually get into that. There's a couple, but I'll just say them as they pop up. Thuram is a snub off this list. I think he's an elite player. But when we're talking elite players on Inter Milan, it's really only Barella, it's Thuram, and Bastoni. I think the system that Inzaghi ran, and obviously that doesn't mean these players are not good. I'd say in that very good category, Dumfries is right there, just a tier below. But these are players that were made to look a lot better than they actually are. By Inzaghi, and I think it'll be really evident to see this upcoming season. But yeah, not much to say. Great player, but he's not better than anybody else on this list. Next up, in 29th, I have Declan Rice. He was phenomenal this year for Arsenal. Obviously had that amazing two-leg campaign against Real Madrid where he scored those 2 free kicks. I think actually the second leg, you really got to see how good of a midfielder Declan Rice is, because obviously those 2 goals were just phenomenal in the first leg, but it was a much more complete performance. He shut down anything Real Madrid tried to produce in that second leg. He's been great for Arsenal in the Premier League. Obviously super consistent, one of the best midfielders in the league, but you do kind of have to put trophies and kind of their how much they've won into consideration. And obviously, Arsenal didn't win anything last season, and I do think there are a lot of players that, although maybe they also didn't win anything, they have a much better case for what the Ballon d'Or award really is. So yeah, Declan Rice at 29th, quality player. I think that's a fair position for him. In 28th, I'm gonna put Lautaro Martinez, not because I think if it was up to me saying okay, who's just the better player, who's a better performer, I would put Declan Rice. It's my list. I'll put Declan Rice above Lautaro. I think Lautaro is really overrated. I think he's a good striker, but I think he's the best complement striker you can have. I don't feel like he can lead the line on his own. It's kind of same case with Dumfries. It's good player, great season. Obviously, he did really good in Serie A. Obvious goal scorer. But again, didn't win anything, and I do think he's benefited by Thuram a lot. I would have rather had Thuram in this list and put Thuram in this. But if Thuram was here, I would put him above Declan Rice. But I think, yeah, that's kind of fair. So now 27th, I'm going to put Serhou Guirassy. Phenomenal Champions League campaign. And what I didn't know, actually, he's on the older side. I think he's 28, 29, but phenomenal season with Dortmund. He made a struggling side look a lot better than they were. Obviously, UCL top scorer. You can't really argue with that. I think he was tied with Raphinha. Phenomenal campaign from him. And I'm surprised the big team in Europe hasn't snapped him up yet. Obviously, Gittins got taken by Chelsea, but I think a side that's looking for a striker, I know Man United got Sesko today, but Man United would have been a good suitor for Guirassy. I think clubs should be looking at him, as a semi-affordable option at the striker position. I think he's phenomenal. But yeah, so we have 30, 29, 28, 27. So in 26th position, might be a bit low for him, but I'm putting Erling Haaland. Obviously, Premier League second top goal scorer to Mohamed Salah. City just had a really bad year, and I think if you're going to nominate any City player, it would be Haaland. But I just think due to the campaign that the club had, you can't really put him much higher. He was also plagued by injuries this year. It wasn't the most available, but I do think he'll be back now. I think he'll be back to performing at his peak best. And people saying that Haaland fell off, like Haaland's not all that anymore. He's still a top 5 minimum player in the world. Like, and on his day, he has best in the world potential, or best in the world like ceiling. So yeah, I think that's fair for Haaland. Going 26 for him. It's just more dependent on the year, and obviously if he finished as Prem top goal scorer, or had more of an impact in the Champions League, I would put him higher. It's just like, I think when City weren't performing, he also wasn't performing, but I think he was the best performer of like a bad performing side, if that makes sense. So in 25th, I have Vinicius Jr. Phenomenal start to the year. I think that first half before his injury, especially before I think he returned against the Atalanta game in the UCL group stage. But, prior to that, before that injury that he had, he was phenomenal. He was Madrid's, sole attacking force in the final third. Had that hat trick against Dortmund. Phenomenal game in the Super Cup against Atalanta as well. Phenomenal league campaign up to then. But I think after December, fell off a bit. The whole team of Madrid was just disjointed and all that. I do think he'll be back, but with how poor his performances were in the latter half of the season when it actually matters, he just wasn't up to par. So yeah, I think that's a fair position for him, 25th. And now we can move into the next section, which is the lower side. And we're going to start off with Florian Wirtz. Phenomenal player. I think he's going to light it up in the Premier League with Liverpool. I think what I've seen in preseason is just a bit more conservative Florian Wirtz. But yeah, he will start performing. But this is, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the season prior. Leverkusen, underwhelming campaign, got overshadowed by Bayern Munich in the league. Got thumped by Bayern Munich in the Champions League, and then, got knocked out of the cup by, I'm pretty sure, like a Bundesliga 2 side, or correct me if I'm wrong, it might be lower than that. And yeah, so disappointing club campaign, but again, he was the bright light on that Leverkusen side, and I think he'll be able to show his talents even more tenfold. Yeah, phenomenal player, but I just think overall achievement-wise and just the underperformance compared to how good he was the season prior, I think that's fair for him to go at 24th. At 23rd, I'm going to put Jude Bellingham. I think he was one of Madrid's best performers in the season. I think this season, in the first half of this season, Jude Bellingham was better than he was in the prior season. It's just the goals and assist merchants aren't going to see that. They're going to say, Jude Bellingham's not scoring. Jude Bellingham was scoring before. What happened? He's playing a more traditional midfield role. He's being pushed around constant places in that second half of the season. He's playing left mid off the ball. And then he's drifting inside whenever Madrid do have the ball, which when we didn't hold consistent possession for an extended period of time. I don't think I can count on one, maybe two hands, games that we had full control of from minute 0 to minute 90. It was just constant, disjointed. But this is not a Madrid round. I'm not gonna make it that. Jude Bellingham, phenomenal. I think he was brilliant this season. Obviously, had that stretch in a December, January time where he scored like 7 in a row, 9 in a row, or something like that. So obviously that was great. I think outside of Valverde, he was our best performer this season. That's another snub, I would say. Thuram and Federico Valverde not being nominated in this is criminal. How the fuck are you putting Denzel Dumfries and Lautaro Martinez in this list and you're not putting Fede Valverde? I don't know, but whatever. I don't make the list. I don't make the nominees. But yeah, Bellingham, I think this is fair for him. Obviously, um, again, a lot of what you'll see with these like lower sided players is it's just your club didn't perform as much as they should have or didn't win, so it's hard to put you higher than that. But yeah, phenomenal season from Bellingham. I do see a lot of improvements and hopefully can recover well from his shoulder surgery. After that, I'm gonna put Alexis McAllister in 22nd. What a player he is for Liverpool. Probably their best midfielder this season. As like that, double pivot with Grafenberch, and then he would move up into a free roaming 8 role. He's just like a solid midfielder, like you really can't ask anymore. I would love to see him in a Madrid shirt. I think he is like a player that's that quality to play for Real Madrid, to play for Barcelona. He's been phenomenal in the Premier League. Obviously, they won the Premier League and all that. I just think the players above him have just more accolades to their name. So yeah, I think that's a fair position for Alexis McAllister. After that, we have a player. Obviously, I think McAllister is better than him, but we have Fabian Ruiz, quadruple winner, was the more advanced kind of player in that PSG midfield. That's like extremely dominant PSG midfield. Obviously popped up with such crucial goals against Arsenal in the Champions League semifinals. Scored against Real Madrid twice in the Club World Cup semifinal. Phenomenal performances in both those games, and obviously it was so consistent in the league for PSG. So yeah, I think, but compared to the other two midfielders in the PSG 11, I have to put him the lowest out of them. So I think that's, where I would place Fabian Ruiz. After that, this might be a little bit controversial, but I'm going Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer at 20th. People saying, oh, he should be in like top 5, like Ballon d'Or, shouts. No, like, what are you saying? Just because he had, like, obviously phenomenal Conference League final performance from Cole Palmer, single-handedly won them that game, but he wasn't a big contributor in the actual competition. They kind of it's a Conference League. Chelsea are not going to play their starters in that, barring the final. Phenomenal Club World Cup final. I think he's finally, Maresca's finally found that role for him, or that system for him to be back to playing in his preferred roles where he can perform best in that right half space. And we saw that instantly in the Club World Cup, just how much of a performer he was in the Conference League. But again, you go 4 months without a goal, as Chelsea's main man, and in the Premier League, where Chelsea did kind of fall off in that second half of the season by doing that, like, oh, we're not in the title race gimmick. It's hard to ignore that. Ballon d'Or, it's a award that's awarded over the course of the season, not just who has the most momentum at the end of the season. So I think Bellingham should have won it last season. Obviously, Madrid started pushing Vinicius heavy, and I think Vinicius was a deserved podium, but Bellingham deserved it. Bellingham was doing it from the start of the season, where he was phenomenal, and people say, oh, you fell off in the second of the season. No, in the second half of the season. No, he didn't watch the games. Just because he's not scoring doesn't mean he's not playing amazing. He dragged England to the final. I think he was the best performer in the final as well, from both sides. Got an assist in the final as well. Scored the bicycle kick to keep England in the tournament. So that's why, last season I think Bellingham should have won it. But Vinicius obviously picked up the momentum at the tail end of the season last time, and then that's why he became like the man that Real Madrid were like pushing and all that. But again, that's besides the point. So yeah, that's kind of why Cole Palmer, I have him here. I think he's gonna have a phenomenal upcoming season with Chelsea, and I think we'll see him a lot higher, maybe potentially even top 10 next season, which he definitely has the potential to do so. After that, I'm going Robert Lewandowski. Amazing season with Barcelona. Picked it up after a down year the season prior. Barcelona in general were just a phenomenal team, and obviously like your star number 9 in that 11 is gonna only benefit from you being such a good team. He wasn't like amazing. I would say he was really, really good last season. Obviously, he had a lot of missed opportunities that kind of go under the radar just because of how much Barcelona create. But then again, like, you win the league, you win the domestic treble. It's hard to ignore that. He has the trophies to kind of make up for maybe a couple shortcomings on like the chance conversion side. So yeah, I think 19th is fair. After that, in the 18th, we have Scott McTominay, Serie A MVP, Serie A winner. And if you really watch Serie A, you'll see how crucial this guy's goals were and assists were in the league. He scored in every single big moment in the league that Napoli had. I'm playing in that more advanced role. And I think like him leaving Manchester United, he was obviously such a quality player for Manchester United, or just at Manchester United. And I think leaving and now him playing in his more preferred role, we're seeing just how good of a player he is. And having the manager's backing is so huge. I'm playing with confidence and all that. Yeah, so I think just for his accolades, although, yeah, obviously Cole Palmer's a better player, McAllister, Jude Bellingham, Vinicius, they're all better players, but Scott McTominay has the accolades to back it, and I think this season he deserves to, crack into the top 20 over some of these other guys for the Ballon d'Or ranking. After that, in 17th, I think we move into the mid-tier now. We have Desiree Doué. I think he's going to win Golden Boy. What a season he's had. Picked it up tremendous. I think he was phenomenal the whole year for PSG, but then obviously cemented himself into that starting 11 in the second half of the season after the Liverpool game. Liverpool, specifically the Liverpool second leg at Anfield. When he came on, he was phenomenal. This is the Neymar. I don't think the name like Neymar region is not a thing. Like can't have a region of such quality players, but he is the closest thing that we have to Neymar. He scored massive goals in the Champions League. Obviously scored in the final as well. He's gonna win the Golden Boy. He's such a joy to watch as well. Like you, as a neutral, you watch the game just to watch players like Desiree Doué. So I think it's a fair position for him. I don't think he deserved young player of the tournament in the Club World Cup. I think Gonzalo Garcia was much better than him, and there's a couple other players that I would have put above him, but obviously he won that too, made it to the final of the Club World Cup final too, and obviously he's a quadruple winner, so he's gonna have that case for him as well. You could argue maybe you could put, actually I'm gonna bring him back, and I'm gonna put Kavicha in his. No, I won't do that. I'll stick to my ranking. I'll put Desiree Doué there. After that, I have Michael Olise. Phenomenal player. I really like watching Olise play. He's kind of in that similar boat as Doué, but just more silky on the ball. Like when you see the ball at Olise's feet, it just feels like sport's kind of easy for him. It's like it's satisfying to watch, and it's ridiculous numbers in the Bundesliga. I do think he needs to step it up in the big games. But yeah, he's a phenomenal player, and I think he will only grow better and better with Bayern Munich. I think Bayern Munich is the perfect kind of club for him right now, as the system that kind of company plays favors Olise kind of going on that right side and then having space to create having the space in the right half space to create and all that. But yeah, great season. His numbers are why I put him above Desiree Doué, although Desiree Doué has the trophies. But yeah, phenomenal. And then after that, I have Kavicha. I think why I went back on my swapping of him and Desiree Doué is he also gets the Napoli League medal, which is like, okay, like, what, he wasn't there for it. It's just a cop-out. No, he played a phenomenal part in the first half of the season for Napoli, and then he was like the key to get the cogs turning for PSG when he came to PSG, and obviously he won the quadruple there. So he has that one trophy on Doué, I guess, the other league title. But yeah, he's phenomenal. He's the winger that he's like a manager's winger, like you are super direct on the ball when you're in possession. You work for the team. Obviously he's got a nasty shot on him. Came up with some big goals in the Champions League as well. His tracking is like phenomenal too in the final, where he like tracked. It's the 80th minute. He's going all the way back to his box just to win the ball back. That's phenomenal. And yeah, so I think it's a fair position for him. I just think he was just a bit better than Desiree Doué in just watching the game as well. So I would put him higher. So yeah, I think that's fair. And obviously another quadruple winner. Then after that, did I miss someone? I did miss someone. I missed Gyökeres. My bad. I'll put Gyökeres right in between Olise and Kvicha Kvaratskhelia. Gyökeres, like, yeah, he plays in the Portuguese league, but like 50 goals, like you can't ignore that. He's a lethal 9. Like, I think he's gonna do really well for Arsenal. I think obviously I'm not his biggest fan. I don't like you have like the Gyökeres like truthers where they're like, oh, he's like phenomenal, he gets all these goals and all this. I don't really think that is the case, but I think as a pure 9, he's just phenomenal, and his UCL campaign was phenomenal too. He's just a bully of a striker. He knows how to score goals and all that, and yeah, you can't knock his goal tally. So I think, slotting in that like right in the middle, like 15th is perfect for him. Then after Kvaratskhelia, in back to now 13th, Virgil van Dijk. Every year I feel like Van Dijk is gonna fall off. He just finds a new level, and just completely blows me out the water. He's undeniably the best center back in the world. Undeniably an all-timer. Undeniably at minimum, if you don't have a minimum in your top 2 Premier League center backs of all time, you're tripping. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. He's gonna go down as an all-time center back too. Top 10 definitely. If he keeps going at the level he's going, you're gonna get into very uncomfortable conversations. Rock at the back for Liverpool. Won the league with Liverpool, obviously leading that back line. Yeah, he's a phenomenal player, and I'm done doubting him. I'm not gonna say he's gonna fall off next year, but if he does, like, hey, who knows? After that, João Neves, he's probably the second best out of that PSG midfield, and what a player he is! Like, João Neves is the perfect like midfield complement to Vitinha, I think, in that role. Another quadruple winner, another PSG player. Works so hard off the ball to kind of cover for his lack of size. Just technically so sound, so comfortable on the ball, and really versatile too. The fact that you're this young and you're coming into this PSG side that are kind of still evolving, still growing, and then they play the system that they play with like so much freedom and kind of space covering and all that, and you're that kind of anchor for them. Tremendously important role. Won the Nations League with Portugal too. Obviously didn't play much in the final, but the games preceding the final, he was phenomenal in. So yeah, I think this is a fair position for him at 12th, and right above him in 11th, just missing out on top 10, because I think goalkeepers you can only rank them so high, but probably the best goalkeeper in the world this season. Not probably. I would put him as the best keeper this season. Gianluigi Donnarumma. He does sometimes have like that bozo trait where like you just kind of expect him to make a mistake in the big games, and that's kind of why I think PSG have like looked for a replacement, because him on the ball is not there. He's not a really great modern keeper. He's not great on the ball and all that, but he's just phenomenal at shot stopping. I think him, Alisson, Courtois are the top 3 keepers in the world, and there's just, I'd say, other than, I think Courtois is like better than, Courtois is the best keeper in the world in my opinion, but his shot stopping is the closest thing I think that rivals Courtois, and I think just his sheer size also helps him. Another quadruple winner, obviously. I am just a little bit like biased against goalkeepers, but I think 10th, like as good as he was, he made some phenomenal saves in the Club World Cup. He made some phenomenal saves in the Champions League too, against Aston Villa and Arsenal specifically. That, like, it's the fine margins that really matter when you want to win win the Champions League and the league and all these big trophies. It's the fine margins, and Donnarumma was there to cover for PSG when they were in trouble in those short couple times. They were getting dominated by Villa for like a solid 25-30 minute spell in the second half of the second leg, and Donnarumma came up big with some massive saves. I think the save against Rashford that he had, I forgot who the player was, but he was like, he had the ball, and Donnarumma, the guy was already celebrating, and Donnarumma reaches back and fucking swats that shit out of the goal. That shit was insane. Had some insane saves against Arsenal as well. The save that he had against Odegaard was just that shit seemed impossible to me. So yeah, definitely best goalkeeper. He's probably gonna win the Yashin Trophy, and I think 11th is fair for him. Now we get into the real meat of the video. We got the top 10. We're gonna start off with Harry Kane. He finally won a trophy. Clap it up for him. Big. What is he, like 32, 33 years old? Won a trophy, but no, he's still top 3 strikers in the world, probably the best striker in the world this season. Actually, no. He's the second best striker in the world this season. Won the Golden Boot, the top scorer in the Bundesliga. Won the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. He's the kind of key piece at the top of that team. Best player on that team as well. You can make an argument for Musiala, but I think it's Kane. And so I think he's the deserved player to make it into the top 10. After that, maybe some people might say a bit low, but I have Hakimi. I don't think fullbacks should be like that high, but if you are gonna put fullbacks, I think this season was the season to put him in the top 10. And Hakimi, he's just a phenomenal player. Best right back in the world this season. So versatile, so important for PSG. Scored a goal in the final of the I think he scored a goal in the final of the French Cup, and he scored a goal in the final of the Champions League. Quadruple winner. He's so versatile on that right hand side. You'll find him at the edge of the box sometimes. When he scored the goal against Inter Milan, he's literally on the 6-yard line. And you would think all these attacking things that I'm saying, who's covering for him at the back? He's covering for himself at the back. He's dropping back and doing all that work. So phenomenal player. And I think Nuno Mendes, who I'm going to talk about earlier, only goes up for it's again fine margins, but I'll get into that. After that, I have Kylian Mbappé, 8 times every single season in his career. He's been nominated for a Ballon d'Or, European Golden Boot winner, probably the best player on that struggling Madrid side. He's gonna really light it up this upcoming season. But he's still a phenomenal player. When you watch Real Madrid this season, your worry is Kylian Mbappé. Had a slow start to the season and still won the Golden Boot is, I think, phenomenal. Broke so many records at Madrid too. First player since I think Di Stefano to score 30 goals in your starting or first season in La Liga. Won the International Cup and the Super Cup, I guess, if you want to say trophies. But I think his individual season is what makes him kind of slot in that 8th. After that, I have Nuno Mendes. The reason I'm putting him above Hakimi is just because he has the Nations League trophy and got man of the match and scored a goal in that final too. Locked up the best right winger in the world, Lamine Yamal. Again, just phenomenal for PSG as well. He did have that mistake in the Club World Cup final that led to the first goal, but nobody cares about that. It's just a one-off thing. But if you look at the season in entirety, Nuno Mendes, he's the best left back in the world. I've been saying he's the best left back, for 2-3 years now. And this season he kind of solidified it. Took his game to that, big stage, superstar status, and just phenomenal player. After that, we have Barcelona's most important player in Pedri. I think Pedri, that Barcelona team doesn't operate without Pedri, and I think Lamine is probably the other guy. He's just phenomenal. The best tempo setter in world football, probably one of the best passers in the game now. Won the domestic treble with Barcelona, and it's he's one of those players where you can't look at stats for Pedri. You just have to watch the game, and when you watch the game, you'll see just how good of a player he is. I think it's just the shortcomings in the Champions League or why he doesn't crack into that top 5 for me. And I think for what the Ballon d'Or is and the 5 players that are ahead of him, I just think they are that just little bit better. Pedri as a player, phenomenal. I just think these players have the playing, the individual season as well as the trophies to back it up. And so that's the reason I'm going to go Vitinha right above Pedri. I think Pedri and Vitinha, two of the best midfielders this season. Vitinha has just been incredible for PSG this year. Again, won the Nations League with Portugal as well. He played phenomenal in that final when he came on. Phenomenal final performance against Inter Milan. In every single game, that he's the player that PSG go to when they want to dictate the possession. If you look at the Liverpool game, when Liverpool were suffocating them at Anfield at the back, he was the one that kind of dropped into the defense to kind of create that space for Dembélé to come in, and then he would play that line driving pass into the space in between the center backs and the midfield. Like, he's the one that creates for that PSG side. And I think him and Pedri play sort of, they have a similar case in this, but Vitinha has the trophies that edge him just above Pedri for me. So now we can get into the top four. And to start it off, to close off the elite range, I'm going to go Mohamed Salah. Look, I know people are going to say, like, oh, he fell off at the end of the season. Like, you know, his Ballon d'Or campaign's done. That still doesn't mean he should just be, like, fucking forgotten from this. You know, most GA in the Premier League. I think he was, like, 2 assists off breaking the record. Or I think he does have the most GA ever. He just didn't have that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. He basically, insane season in the Premier League. Top assister, top goal scorer, Premier League winner. Liverpool's most important. Think about the players he's playing. He's playing with fucking Darwin Nunez up top, Luis Diaz and Gakpo. Gakpo, Luis Diaz, they're great players. Darwin Nunez, like, I'm not gonna say the same for him, but like, think about the players he's playing with, and he's performing at such an elite level. He's 33, I think 32, 33 years old. He's still performing at this high level in the best league in the world. Yeah, maybe it was a down season for the Premier League, but Premier League trophy, goal scorer, top assister. He downloaded his fucking creative bag as well this season, which before were like Salah's, direct winger, kind of like goal scorer, but he got creative this season. He's evolving his game, we can see, and I think with Wirtz and all that, so long as age doesn't catch up to him, which I don't think it will this following season, Salah's going to have another phenomenal campaign. But yeah, that UCL shortcomings, and then obviously not getting those 2 assists. Like, bro, I think he needed 2 assists from February onwards, and then he just started fucking trolling. So I don't know about that. I don't know how he didn't break that. But yeah, 4th I think is fair for Mohamed Salah. Now we have the podium, the big 3. This is probably what everybody was waiting for. And I'm going to start it off with Lamine Yamal in 3rd. I know people, probably can say, oh, like, he should finish 2. He should probably win it. No, I don't think he should. Phenomenal player. He's going to win multiple in a season, in his career, obviously. He's just that talent. Now, I'm not going to make the argument where it's like, oh, he's only scored 9 league goals. No, if you watch Barcelona, and also just look at his assist numbers, you'll see just how well he's performing. Look at his UCL games as well. He was phenomenal at UCL, and towards the end of the season he just became unplayable. But I think the 2 players above him just have a better case for it. As much as you can say, yeah, only like it's not just about like, oh, you scored 9 league goals, like, what shouldn't be an argument. Yeah, it does have to play a little bit when you have the 2 other players on that are still on the list. But phenomenal player in his own right. I wouldn't be surprised if he finished 2nd. Would be a little bit if he won it, because I think the 2 above him just have, especially the winner, he has such a phenomenal case. But you can't really argue with either 2nd or 3rd for Lamine Yamal. I'm just going 3rd out of my preference, which would be Raphinha in 2nd. I think Raphinha was phenomenal this season. People kind of, as good as Lamine Yamal has gotten, and as much as they want to push Lamine Yamal, people are kind of forgetting just how good of a season Raphinha has had. He's been performing start to finish for Barcelona. He was phenomenal in the first half of the season. UCL top goal scorer, top assister, I think, as well in the UCL. Scored in every single big game in the UCL. Scored in every single big game in the league. Scored in the Clásicos. Scored in the Supercup final. Scored in the La Liga game against Real Madrid that basically won them the league. Was phenomenal in the Copa del Rey final. Phenomenal against Inter Milan. Scored in the first leg and second leg. Although the first leg one was kind of like an own goal, but like whatever. In UCL group stage, he was phenomenal. Like, he has such a good strike on the ball. I think he was Barcelona's top scorer this season. So yeah, I think like when you watch the game and you take the whole season into account, I think he deserves it over Lamine Yamal to finish 2nd. But neither of them, I think, should be winning it, and I think the clear winner should be Ousmane Dembélé. He's just been incredible this season. Quadruple winner, UCL, winner. Obviously, that goes into quadruple. But people like to say that he only started performing the second half of the season. That's such a lie. He started performing at a tier above what he was performing in the first half of the season. But his first half of the season, he was phenomenal. Ligue 1 top goal scorer, got an assist and was phenomenal in the Champions League final. Obviously, the best attacker in that PSG side. His work rate on and off the ball is phenomenal. He can play a multitude of positions. He can play all over that attack. So yeah, I think Ousmane Dembélé is probably the winner of this season's Ballon d'Or. I think if you were gonna give it to anybody else, I think Raphinha deserves it. But yeah, all these top three just phenomenal. So yeah, Ousmane Dembélé is my winner. I don't think there should be much debate with that, especially after. Also, he had such a phenomenal Club World Cup as well. Yeah, he didn't play well in the final. I get that, but that doesn't discredit everything that he's done this season. He was phenomenal in all the other games that he played in the Club World Cup. In that semifinal against Real Madrid, he tore them apart. So yeah, that's my Ballon d'Or rankings. Here's the kind of more digestible list, I guess. Can I even move this shit? Yeah, there we go. Minimize that. Boom. I guess that's a bit clearer to look at, I guess, if you want to see the list top to bottom. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Obviously, be differing opinions in the comment section. Let me know. I'd love to hear that. And yeah, thanks for watching. See y'all.